Hey y'all, my group had the Day of the Dead and I was assigned to do the interesting facts about this holiday. So I'm not sure about you, but just from what I've heard growing up, I just assumed that this holiday was considered the Mexican Halloween. So because I didn't know very much about this holiday, I actually began researching on my own so I could learn more about it before I actually gave a speech about it. So when I was researching, there are tons of interesting facts that I found that actually drew me in. But the most interesting to me is that because many of us think it's a Mexican Halloween, it truly isn't. This holiday, however, actually has rich and ancient history that dates back over 200 years. So I'm not sure about you, but when I thought of the Day of the Dead, I just thought, oh, it's this like little day, kind of like our Halloween. Like, I don't really think it has much history. However, it truly is a big celebration for these Mexican families, and it's kind of a sacred tradition for them that does date back for over 200 years. So during this holiday, these Mexican families, they place these things called ofrendas, which I think is how you say it, on their deceased relatives' graves. So it's a way to honor their relatives. So these ofrendas are truly what the whole celebration is actually about. They consist of a set of items that the relatives place on their deceased relatives' graves that kind of just show who they are as a person. So there are different things they can put. They can put photographs, personal items that identify the person who has actually passed. They actually have these sugary treats that have skulls on them. I don't know if you've seen them in pictures. I hadn't until I saw them when I was researching, but they're kind of cool. It's like a little cookie, and it has a skull shape on the top. It's kind of cool, and they also can put that on the grave. So these different staples that they use are built on a table. So the table has a tablecloth on top and then china paper cut into patterns. And then they place all these things that kind of represent who their deceased relative is. So the Day of the Dead is not really an actual complicated holiday. It's basically a way to remember a loved one who has passed by sharing a meal with them as they were there. So I'll talk about it in a few minutes, but the Day of the Dead is actually held in a graveyard. So it's kind of like you have a party with your relative, and it's a way to honor them and celebrate them as they were there. So they eat in the graveyard and share a meal with them as they're sitting at the table with them. So to some people, they only celebrate with offering to altar. It's kind of what your family decides to celebrate about how you celebrate this holiday and how you use ofrendas to celebrate your different deceased relatives. So the next interesting fact I found is that the party is actually in the graveyard. How weird is that? But this Mexican holiday, which has ancient history for over 200 years, is celebrated in a graveyard. So the families have the ofrendas, they decorate the graves and the tomb of their past loved ones, and they just kind of share celebrations with they were with them. I actually think it's kind of cool because I think it would be kind of cool to go, celebrate with my grandmother in the graveyard as she was here with me. So many people associate skulls with just meaning death, but in the Mexican society and how they celebrate this holiday, the skulls mean more than that to them. So these skulls have been being used since before pre-Hispanic times, and before then they were used as a celebration of death and rebirth. So not only is it used as something to celebrate death, it's also considered as a celebration for the rebirth of that person. So they kind of use that as a way to celebrate them in the graveyard, and I think it's kind of a cool situation because, I don't know, I just think it would be cool. So the Day of the Dead is supposed to be happy and sad. So it's supposed to be happy because the people participating believe that their deceased relatives are laughing at their jokes along with them and just having a good time with them in the graveyard. However, it's also meant to be a somber reflection of those who have passed away. So, it's happy to act like you're getting to spend time with your relative, but at the same time, it's kind of sad because they truly aren't there with you. So the fact that I found the most interesting about this Mexican holiday is that Mexican hairless dogs are involved. So they are often used as decorations for the Day of the Dead, and people sometimes believe these animals will lead the dead back to heaven after the party in the graveyard. So thank y'all for listening. I think the Day of the Dead is a really neat holiday, and yeah, bye.